And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the NBA season preview episode. And I'm stoked for it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm ready to talk some NBA. It's been a minute since we talked about the NBA, and we just want to do a season preview. So here it is. We're going to talk about, we're going to touch on at least all 30 teams. We're going to give you some predictions, team predictions, award predictions, so on and so forth. But right now, we're going to go through the Eastern Conference. We're going to play a little fun game. We're going to talk about every team. We're going to pick the which teams out of the 8 teams are going to make the playoffs. And then we'll do the West. And we're going to punish whoever does the worst here at some point. But, of course, that'll be months and months down the line when we actually figure out who did badly. So let's get started. And first team in the East, the Atlanta Hawks, who a team that made some moves this offseason, bringing in DeJounte Murray, the All-Star, to play alongside Trae Young. They signed DeAndre Hunter to an extension. They're defensive-minded small forward. They also brought John Collins back on a new deal. They kept most of their stuff from last year. You know, Trae Young, Clint Capella, Bogdanovic, and Okongwu, sorry. The Hawks, they're a confusing team, and if you ask me, they made the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years ago, which I think was a little fluky, don't get me wrong, but then last year they couldn't even make the playoffs.
They made the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, I guess they got into the play-in, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost to the Heat in the first round, I believe.
Yeah. But they weren't the same team, though. They were a lot worse than the year before. I think they're somewhere in between. Personally, I don't think they're really bad, but I also don't think they're world beaters. So, anybody else have anything to add about the Hawks?
I think if Young and Murray eventually mesh well, I think they could end up being a pretty interesting team in the East, but it might take a little while for them to figure it out.
I think Murray was a good pickup for him.
I do too.
Kind of second scoring option that they didn't really.
Yeah. Well, he does everything. He's a great defender, rebounder, passer.
Yeah, I think potentially what could be great for them is having Murray on the ball and having Trae Young off the ball, running off screens and getting a bunch of open looks. He doesn't have to create his own shot all the time.
Mm-hmm. Pulling up from the logo every time he brings the ball down the court.
Yeah.
It could be a plus if Trae Young lets it happen.
I mean, I know it's just one game, but I did see part of their game the other night. I can't remember who they played now.
Okay. I watched it too.
Was it the Hornets?
Houston. No,
Yeah.
different game.
I watched
the same game.
And we've been watching League Pass. We watched a lot of games. But anyway, they both ended up with over 20 points and double-digit assists. Both guards did. They were it was 22 and 11 and 26 and 10 or something like that. But anyway, so does anybody have Atlanta making the playoffs?
No. I'm going to put them in.
Yeah, I think I'm going to write them down.
No.
I'm not.
No.
So we have Drew and Wade with Atlanta in the playoffs, and Doug, Ray, and I with no Atlanta in the playoffs. And that will lead us to Boston, a team we're actually watching on the TV right now.
Yeah.
Boston, a team that made a bunch of moves this season. Not all of them have paid out. Like Gallinari, bringing Gallinari in and then playing in, what was that? What were they playing in the qualifier this year? The Olympic qualifier they were playing this year? Is that what that was?
Something like that.
Wasn't
Yeah, he tore his ACL. So he's out for the season. But they also brought in Brogdon, who I like. I've always liked Brogdon. He's a nice player, nice piece. They still have Smart and Brown, Tatum, Horford. Robert Williams is currently not playing, but he's supposed to be back in a month. Like I said, they signed Brogdon, brought back Derek White and Grant Williams, but did not sign Derek Williams to an extension, or not Derek Williams. I just mixed the names. Grant Williams. He was one of the only players eligible for an extension from his draft class that didn't get one here. Was it just a couple days ago? Even Nasir Little from Portland got an extension. And they've looked They've played, 2 games so far this year, and they've looked pretty good.
Yeah, they've looked good, and they're young.
Yeah.
I mean, they could be good for a while.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. So, anybody else have anything to add on the Celtics?
I think they're going to be title contenders.
Yeah,
Me
I think
too.
they'll be right back in the mix in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah. I will. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I have them making the playoffs.
Yeah, so do I.
Me
Yep,
too.
so do I.
It's me too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that will move us to a tricky team, if you ask me, because you just never know what you're going to get between the most, maybe 3 of the most fragile players in the NBA all play on the same team, the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh my gosh.
Had a off season filled with turmoil and confusion and whiny babiness and all sorts of stuff. Durant demanded a trade. The Nets told him no.
Good for them.
Yeah, very good for
The
them.
Nets showed their balls and told him no.
Yeah, I wish the rest of the teams would start doing this to some of these other guys.
We have you on contract for the next 4 years. We don't care.
Yeah,
Drew,
exactly.
what did you say? The Nets showed their balls?
Yeah. They showed the league and said, we have balls. The other 29 of you don't.
Then he said, well, then it's either me or the coach and the GM, and the Nets again said no.
They're all still there.
We're all still playing basketball together.
Kyrie doing Kyrie things. I don't know how else to put it other than that. I think everybody pretty much understands that. Ben Simmons is playing basketball, so there's an improvement.
Yeah,
At least,
back.
at least he's on the
Not
court.
well, but he's
Right.
playing it.
He's playing.
I saw a hot take on the Brooklyn Nets. Someone said Ben Simmons is going to lead the league in assists. Well, I guess we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, I'll say this: he has to have the ball to lead the league in assists, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, they won tonight. They beat Toronto. So they have 1 win down.
What kind of stat line did they put up? Those 3 guys put up?
Durant was 27 points, 4 boards, 6 assists. Shot like 43, 44%. Kyrie had 30 and 7 assists, but he was 11 for 24, so decent. Ben Simmons only had 6 points. But, he only shot 5 times. Obviously, he didn't shoot any threes, shocker. But he did have 10 rebounds and 8 assists.
You know what, though? I mean, I think they would like him to score a little bit more than that. I mean, 6 points isn't very much, but if he goes out and gets some, what'd you say? Well, I don't remember which one it was, 10 assists, 8 boards, or flip-flop, whatever you said.
Either way.
They'll take that all the time.
Plus, he's a star defender when he's in shape. So.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
another thing. You give me time to get in shape.
And Joe Harris
Yeah.
came back tonight.
Yeah.
He was making his debut back from his injury from last season.
Seth Curry's not. Well, he's supposed to be coming back sometime.
Yeah, he's not back yet, but he's
He's
supposed to be back soon. They still have Patty Mills played well the other night for him. Nick Claxton put on a bunch of muscle in the offseason. When I watched their first game the other night. He looked kind of
I
jacked
kind
up.
of like him. I liked him a little bit last year. He gets stuff done.
This is the kid
Agreed.
from
He just got pushed around a little bit sometimes.
LSU that plays for
Thomas?
Cam
Yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah.
I like Cam Thomas. I just don't think there's a fit for him on this team between Kyrie,
Yeah.
Curry, and Patty Mills, and Joe Harris, and all those guys. Like, when's he gonna play?
I don't know.
But I really liked first off the pickup of Royce O'Neal. That is the type of player they needed. A defensive first guy that doesn't ever need the ball, but he also can shoot the 3. Like, he can spot up and shoot. And then they went out and got T.J. Warren, which I thought was another nice pickup, but he hasn't played in like 2 years. Ben Simmons-esque, I guess. Only maybe he was actually hurt, unlike Ben
Sensing a
Simmons.
theme there. And Kyrie doesn't play.
But last time we saw T.J. Warren, he was averaging like 35 points a game in the bubble.
Yeah.
in the bubble. A lot of things happen in the bubble.
Ain't that some shit? Yeah.
I know he's not that guy, but I mean he's a good player.
I know.
With Brooklyn, it just comes down to, are the 3 craziest guys in the league going to actually play games?
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to.
Did the Rockets beat Memphis?
No, they're winning by 4 with like
Oh.
4 minutes to go.
Gotcha.
That's all there is to it. They just got to
So who's got
Not
Brooklyn?
be idiots.
I
making
do.
the playoffs?
Oh,
Give me
I'm putting them in
Brooklyn.
the
I do.
playoffs.
Yeah, I put him
I
in the
can't
playoffs.
skip them.
I'm gonna say no.
Oh, all right. All right.
Okay, Ray. Okay.
I see you.
Pelicans beat the Hornets.
There we go. Come
I
on.
can't say I'm surprised about
Oh
that.
boy, Valanciunas, 30-17.
He's a monster.
God, we should have got his jersey last year. If they would have beat the Suns, Alex, you'd still be hearing about it.
That was back in the day of the Chris Paul rivalry.
By the way, I think we'll get there. We're going to talk about it. We'll get there. Next is the Charlotte Hornets, a team that, again, had a weird offseason. They offered Bridges like $180 million, and then he got arrested for beating up a woman. And then they rescinded their offer, and nobody else is offering him any money either. I don't want to get into like the ins and outs of that because I'm not even sure what's going on with it at this point. But he's not on the team, but he was such a good player for them last year. Like that's a huge hole to fill. But they didn't really do anything else. I think it kind of hamstrung them. Like they thought they were going to have him back, and then so that money was on hold, and then he got in trouble, and then. They didn't spend the money anywhere else, so they didn't really replace him. And then did you guys see Book Night the other day? He got plastered drunk. It was and the police found him in his car, passed out, with a bag of Doritos and a 9mm.
Oh my god.
And it was his third DUI in the last month.
It's the kind of
Come
man I
on,
want to
bro.
hang out with.
But
Oh my god.
But then-
with 3 DUIs in a month.
But then 2 nights later, the Hornets played him. He played the opening night.
They're desperate, bruh.
I guess.
Jordan's desperate.
Anyone plays for Michael.
But then they won 43 games, and the first time they had a winning record in a while, and they fired their coach, and brought back Steve Clifford, who they fired 4 years ago. So the Hornets, I don't know what to think about them. LaMelo Ball made an All-Star team last year, and put up some pretty nice stat lines, but people have come out anonymously recently and kind of badmouth him, talk about how he's not very good. And then people are saying the reason Clifford's back is because they're trying to get LaMelo to buy into a team concept and play defense. I don't know.
Yeah.
And of course Gordon Hayward, he just can't stay healthy, and they're paying him an arm and a leg.
And that's such a waste because he was so good.
He was. I really liked Gordon
I liked
Hayward.
watching him play.
I liked him
me
on the
too.
Jazz.
Yeah,
agree.
when he was in the
agree.
Jazz, I liked him a lot.
The Hornets were finally starting to actually build something a little bit, and now they're taking a giant step backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just all there is to it. I'm not
agree.
picking them for the playoffs.
I'm not either.
I'm not picking
No,
them.
not either.
No.
All right.
Next.
Next is the Chicago Bulls.
Yep.
This is a team that I think was banking on getting healthy and building off what they did last year, because they were like the best record in the NBA, and then they had a bunch of injuries, and obviously things kind of fell apart. And I think they ended up in like a mid seed in the East, four or 5 seed or something like that.
Yeah, because they played the Bucks.
So they were like the 2 seed or 7 seed.
Oh, was it that low?
They dropped a lot at the end of the season.
Yeah.
They had like a losing record
So
for
they-
a certain part because so many people were missing time.
Yeah, because they played the Bucks in the first round, I think.
And the Bucks were the 2 or 3 seed.
I think-
So they would have been either 6. They don't think they were in the play-in, so they must have been the 6th seed.
Okay, it might have been the
Yeah.
6th then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because weren't the Heat and the Celtics
Yeah, they were 1 and 2.
1 and 2, and the
Yeah.
Bucks were 3.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So it would have been, they fell to 6. Yeah.
But now they're saying that Lonzo Ball, they have no idea if Lonzo Ball, if or when he'll come back. Like, he still can't run. So, like, he says it hurts to walk up and down stairs.
And Levine is currently having knee problems.
Yeah, Levine missed their opening night game. DeMar DeRozan had a huge game and made them win, but I think they were losing tonight. Caruso didn't play opening night either.
He was playing today.
Okay,
I saw
that's
that.
good.
So
They signed Goran Dragic to be their backup point guard.
if they were fully healthy, I think they'd be a really maybe not a team that would win the title, but a good playoff team.
I
But
agree.
with all their health problems, and it's might be a rough year for them.
I agree. I think if Ball and Caruso and Levine and DeRozan were all healthy, I'd be like, oh, this team's going to be really
Yeah,
good. It's
they'd
going to be
be-
cool. They're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. I wouldn't call them a title contender, but I think they'd be a tough out in the
like
playoffs.
a second round team, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But I can't say that right now. But
I don't
I-
know what to put them down.
I will say I'm going to say they're a playoff team.
Yeah, I would say they're
Yeah.
playoff team. I think they'll pull it together enough to get in the
I think
playoffs.
they can be one of the top 8 teams in the East.
The play-in makes everything so weird, though. You never know.
Yeah.
It's true.
Say they qualify for like the 8th seed, then DeRozan gets hurt, and then they have to play the play-in games without DeRozan. Like then their season's over, and they end
Yeah.
up not being a playoff contender or team.
That's very true. Very true.
All right.
So who all put Chicago down?
I did.
I did.
I think everybody.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
I'm
No,
not
wait.
going with the Bulls.
Yeah, but I got the Bulls then.
All right. Here's a team that I am really interested to watch this season, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think that's a very popular pick to be an interesting team this year. With bringing back Garland and Mobley and Allen, 3 guys that were very important to them last year, but then adding Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Who, I wouldn't classify him as a superstar, but he is a very, very good player. I think he's a very good pickup for a team like Cleveland, who isn't going to attract big superstars, but they traded for a guy that's got like 3 more years on his contract. Maybe if they can win enough, they can sign him to extension. But they kept Kevin Love and Ricky Rubio, who both played really well for them off the bench last year. I think that they'll run their bench unit again.
Ray's boy, Kevin Love.
Oh, yeah.
That takes us way back.
Yeah, just last week we were talking about that,
And then they added Robin Lopez to come off the bench behind Allen. Not a great player, but a nice role player. But they do have kind of a question mark at the small forward spot. They have Isaac Okoro, who is a defensive first guy but can't shoot. They have Seti Osman, who shoots pretty well but not a great defender. And they have a couple other guys that are kind of unknowns. I don't know what they're going to do with the 3 spot there, but I do like this team. Anybody else have anything to add on Cleveland?
They
They're going to be fun to watch,
Yeah.
I think.
They could be great in a couple years if things go the right way.
Well, I saw the opening night. It scared me because I saw I wasn't watching him, but then I flipped to it and I saw Garland getting helped off the floor, and I was like, "Oh crap! Did he get hurt opening night?" He got a really bad cut on his face, I guess,
Oh.
and they were just holding a towel to his face because of the blood. He wasn't actually like getting like carried or anything, helped off.
He probably had to go take a piss break.
But I am going to take Cleveland for the playoffs.
Yep.
Me too.
So am I.
Me too.
And I'll tell you this: depending on how Garland and Mobley continue to grow over the next couple of years, we might be talking about a title contender in a year or two.
That's what I was
Yeah.
saying.
I really like Mobley. I think he's going to.
He has
forward to seeing
superstar
what he
potential,
does.
I think.
All right, so we're a handful of teams into the Eastern Conference here. How many teams do each of us have written down in the playoffs so far?
3.
Ray has 3. I have 4.
I have 4.
I have 5.
Damn.
Uncle Doug, how many did you say?
4.
4. So 3 of us have 4, and then Drew has 1 more with 5, and Ray has 1 less with 3. So we're all pretty bunched up, pretty close. Be interesting to see the differences here at the end. All right, so now that we move past Cleveland, we go to Detroit, who I'm not going to lie to you guys, is another team I'm kind of interested to watch some ball games with this year. I watched them opening night play my Orlando Magic, and they were very exciting. Cunningham and Ivy in the backcourt were very, very nice to watch. And then they have a bunch of young guys that come in and bring high energy and defense and rebounding, like Stewart and Duran, however you say his name. And I feel like I'm missing another big guy there. But
Bagley.
Bagley didn't play the other night, but yeah, Bagley is there. I forgot about Bagley. Sadiq Bey is a really nice shooter. And then they also bring off Killian Hayes as backup guard for him. And then Corey Joseph is actually their like calming presence for the second unit. Comes in and runs the show for the second unit. Can help move Cunningham off the ball some. I thought I've always kind of liked Corey Joseph as that backup point guard. He does a good job with that role. But Ivy, man, he just jumped off the page the other night. He is so freaky athletic. And was using it to get out in passing lanes, using it on the fast break. He had a couple nice dunks, a couple athletic finishes in the lane. I like the Ivy Cunningham combination in their backcourt.
Didn't Ivy come out of Purdue?
Yeah, he
Yes.
was so
Remember watching
athletic
him?
at Purdue.
Oh, yeah, he was really.
I was always interested to watch Purdue in the tournament because he was crazy.
But this is the big part for them. They traded for Bojan Bogdanovic from Utah, and he was that guy that, in big spots or when things had kind of gotten out of control, they give the ball to and kind of calm them down and get them back in their offense. He's a big-time, 3-point shooter, like a 40% three-point shooter, so he's a knockdown shooter off the ball from Ivy and Cunningham. I think they're building something in Detroit. I think they're building something really nice in Detroit. Personally, I will not pick them to make the playoffs this year, but I could see them being a play-in team, and I could see them being a playoff team the next couple of years.
I'm not picking them for the playoffs.
I'm not picking them.
No, not yet.
I think they're setting their foundation for their future.
They
but
got a
they're
good
not there
foundation,
yet.
yeah.
Yeah, but
But
they got a few more,
Not this year.
few more years.
Oh, boy.
Ray?
Ray's wheels are turning.
No, maybe next year.
Well, all right. Nobody picked Detroit. I'm not saying I'm surprised. But here's one. The Indianapolis Pacers. Or Indiana Pacers. I said Indianapolis. Indiana Pacers. I bet nobody picks them either. Because I think they were losing to somebody god-awful tonight, and I was like, man.
Spurs.
No, we came.
Yeah.
We actually came back with like 4.5 minutes left. We came back within like 3 points. It was like 137 to 134.
But you still lost?
Yeah,
To the worst team in the NBA?
dude. Look. Here's
The
the.
Spurs? Can you name 3 Spurs?
No.
I was by the way, this is we're going to talk about them in a little bit, but I was looking at the Spurs roster the other day, and I was like, the only name that is like a name for the Spurs is Doug McDermott. I'm like, nobody knows anybody on this damn team. Anyway, I gotta get off that. We gotta talk about the Pacers.
But here's the rumor going around that we're supposed to be tanking this whole fucking season, which is ridiculous to me, with all this talent we have on the roster, and we're just supposed to just fucking fall off the fucking face of the earth.
I don't know if I would ever describe the Pacers as all this talent.
It's very young, raw talent.
Miles Turner is young and raw.
No, I don't even count that bum on his.
He's on the roster. He counts.
I wouldn't say that
for
about a Buddy Hield either.
Well,
I will say this though, Ray. I really like Tyrese Halliburton. Not as much as some of the national media. I think he's gotten overblown in the national media. He's not a superstar, but I do think he's a very nice player.
Yeah.
And I do think Matherin, your rookie, is a very nice player.
Yeah, I like him.
And Jalen Smith was a nice pickup for you guys at the end of last year. Jalen Smith was a high draft pick a couple years ago and just got buried on the Suns bench, and they never played him, which is weird because he's a stretch 4, which they've been missing for a couple seasons now. Then they just gave him to the Pacers the end of last season for what's his name, Torrey Craig, and now he's a starting 4 in Indiana.
Good for the Pacers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Halliburton will be good for you guys' future. Halliburton, a lot of potential.
And I liked last season. I liked Duarte.
Yeah, Duarte was good too. He came off the bench and just kind of tore it up with the second team.
And then you guys made the trade with the Boston in the offseason to give them Brogdon.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's Brogdon, but I mean Aaron Nesmith is a nice role player, NBA role player, and he's young.
Didn't we get Dice too?
Yeah, you did. You got Tice. He's he's a dependable big, and obviously Miles Turner is not dependable. So he'll probably start a bunch of games this year.
Right. I wasn't trying to praise Dice like he's like the savior of our team or anything, but at least he'll play some games instead of miss like 2 straight seasons with a fucking injury.
I will say this though, as much heat as you give and as some other people give Turner, when he does play, he's a good player.
He's a good rebound blocker. He can't shoot worth the fuck.
I don't know if I go that far.
Well, I will. He really can't. He has not shown me anything worth of crap. Really, he's
The league of blocks.
He ought to be fucking Street Clothes Part 2. Really.
Well, it's
It just breaks.
This is
my
a
heart.
Pacer fan saying this isn't
This
us.
is giving me deja vu of old basketball episodes.
yeah. Well, I gotta
Nothing's changed.
I gotta
Miles
ask you
Turner is
this,
still
Ray.
on the Pacers.
as a Pacers fan, are you rooting for this Russell Westbrook trade to happen?
Are you seriously asking me this?
You don't want to give up Hield and Turner for Westbrook?
No. That's the
We'd
stupidest
gladly
shit
give it
I've
to you
heard.
for less.
Hey, you can have him, Ray.
I will say this. Wade and I were talking about this the other night, and I said I just don't see how it makes sense for Indiana, because why would you add Westbrook to a bunch of young guys that need shots?
Right. Yeah.
Especially since one of them's a point guard.
Westbrook needs
You can
shots.
John Wall.
Alex.
Say, go the fuck home. We're
You-
dumping your salary at the
yeah.
end of the year.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, that's how it would have to be. And I want those picks too. I want those first round picks you got left.
Yeah, the what, 27 and 29?
Yes.
What
Those-
the fuck?
That's what you all would do the trade for, is for
yeah,
the
I
picks.
know. It's-
And then-
but where would they be in
And
the
then
draft?
Kids
That
that
is
are
the
what,
whole
sophomores
thing.
in high school right now?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
but they're the
you'll get
same-
a $40 million salary down at the end of the year when Westbrook's contract's up. So then you'll free up a shit ton of space.
But see, what it comes down to this is if we have the 27 and 29, by the time LeBron's out and whoever else's old ass is off the team, they'll have young players on the Lakers, and by the time we get them picks, they'll
Yeah,
probably
but
be in the playoffs.
every time LeBron leaves a team, he leaves them in shambles for 3 or 4 years at least.
So you might get lucky. If you guys
Yeah, but
do
it's
it.
not worth even getting.
I don't blame you, Ray. I don't.
But
Blame, I wouldn't
anyway,
blame any part of
let's
Westbrook.
get off the tangent. Who's got the Pacers in the playoffs?
Sorry, buddy, I do not.
I do not.
Sorry.
I'm gonna put them down.
Are you really
Yeah.
in the playoffs?
He's a true fan.
That's a true Pacers fan right there.
Well, I'll tell you what. Wade was supposed to be a Colts fan, and he just fell off the face of the earth picking the Colts
No.
this season.
Because they fucking suck.
You were the only one the week against the Broncos not to pick them, and
I was going for the upset there.
See,
I don't know if that was much of an upset. The Broncos suck too.
Yeah.
Let's ride, Broncos Nation.
Do the Broncos suck or does Russell Wilson suck?
They all suck.
Their defense is good.
Defense is
Yeah.
good, but when you can't score more than 9 points a game,
It's weird.
Yeah, it's like the Bears.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Anyway, let's move on from the Pacers
Yeah.
and to the Miami Heat. Miami Heat, a team that kind of stood pat, other than losing one of their starters. They brought back Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Victor Oladipo, Max Strus. All those guys returned, but they lost their starting power forward and PJ Tucker. He went to a division rival, actually. And they did draft the young Nikola Jovic, who does play the 4, but I don't know if he's ready. The other night he didn't play at all, like not a minute. So it doesn't look like he's maybe ready. But I do think they could be a little worse this year without Tucker, unless Jovic does by the end of the season turn into a quality NBA player. But other than that, I mean, last year Lowry was hurt when it mattered most, so we didn't get to see that. But he's getting older, so that's a possibility again. I don't think I have anything else to add on Miami. Does anybody else?
I mean, they're still solid.
I'm
They're not trash.
They're easily a top 6 Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I'm picking them for the playoffs.
I'm picking up for the
playoffs.
playoffs. I wasn't meaning that. I was just thinking I don't know if they're going to be as good as they were. What, the 1 seed last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the
Yeah.
1 seed. Yeah, yeah. I think you're right. I don't think they're going to be the 1 seed.
They'll be contending with
Yeah. They'll be
the
in
big
there.
dogs.
Yep, I'm putting Miami down.
Yep.
That's my 5th team.
Me too.
Me as well.
My 6th.
Ray, how many is that for you?
That's 5. I got 5.
All right. I like it that Drew's run out of spots. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I hope he
That's
does.
fine.
But,
When I go 16 out of 16 on my picks. Here in about 8 months from now.
all right. Now we're up to another contender, I think, in the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh yeah.
Let's write them on down.
This is a team that I rooted all offseason for them to add a two guard because I just don't think Grayson Allen or Wes Matthews at 37 years old is the answer at the two. They did not do anything. But they brought back Holiday and Allen and Middleton and Giannis, Brooke Lopez, Pat Connaughton, George Hill, Bobby Portis, Wes Matthews, all return. Their one pickup was Joe Ingles, who I really liked, used to like at least. Now he's like 36 years old and coming off ACL surgery. So if he returns to form, that's a nice pickup. I just, you don't know what to expect of a 36-year-old coming off ACL surgery.
Yeah.
But he was a knockdown shooter and a nice defender and a nice ball handler for Utah for a number of years there. We'll see, I suppose. They were also in a lot of talks there for a while of them trying to trade for Jordan Clarkson from Utah, but they said that Utah wasn't interested in anything they were offering. Milwaukee doesn't have their picks for a while either. So, not that you would want Milwaukee's picks that badly, I don't think.
No.
Probably not.
Giannis isn't exactly old like we were talking about the Lakers earlier with LeBron leaving because he's old, but that's not Giannis. But I think Milwaukee is definitely a contender not just for the East but for the overall title this year. So they will obviously be a playoff team on my list.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
They're on my list.
The best player in the world is on their team.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think they'll do all right. They almost beat the Celtics without their second best player last year.
That is true.
Probably should have, honestly.
Yeah, and yeah.
I don't know if the word should have, I would say that, but they could have.
Yeah.
Giannis-
I just think Giannis was
yeah.
wore out. That's how he's looking.
Almost definitely. He needed Middleton to take some.
He's just tired at the end of
He needed
games.
some help, yeah. And Middleton is a legit, consistent all-star player over the past 3-4 years. So, I mean,
He has, yes.
he's
He's a
important.
big contributor.
He's very good. And Drew Holiday's been terribly underrated for a long time too.
He has, but he's not the scorer that Middleton is.
No, he's
No,
more of an all-around
he's a
player.
great
Yes.
defensive player.
Great defensive player, good ball handler, solid distributor, solid scorer, but not as good as Middleton.
I think he probably
at
should have
scoring
got a defensive player of the year one of those years, not freaking Marcus Smart.
He's
He
been
was-
his prime years on shit teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on crap teams. Otherwise, I think he would have because he was the best perimeter defender in the NBA for years.
He was
And
pretty good.
that's the thing is like there was superstars in the NBA telling us the hardest guy to score on in the NBA is Drew Holiday. Durant said a couple years ago, and Durant's like 8 inches taller than he is.
Yeah.
They played on the Olympic team together and stuff too. And they talked about that stuff, how good he was in that.
All right. Well,
Who's next?
the New York Knicks.
And fuck no.
Well, they won opening night, Wade.
It's one of
That's true. They lost. They lost to Memphis. Sorry.
So they're 0-1.
I like Jalen Brunson, but he's not
He's not the savior that New York's acting like he
the
is.
Knicks savior.
He is an upgrade for them, and he's a nice player. So I think they will be better this year than last year, barring injuries and stupid stuff like that. But he's not the guy that's going to come in and turn your franchise around.
No.
No.
The Knicks are desperate. They want to be relevant again, so they're the Knicks. They do these things. They overpay for players they shouldn't.
And lost the bag on Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah,
Well, I just don't think they're going to be there till they get a new owner.
I agree.
Yeah,
with
that's
you.
going to be
I
a very
agree.
fair
I
assessment.
mean, the guy he's a mess.
But I do like R.J. Barrett.
Yeah.
I still don't think he's a superstar either. But
No.
he's a nice young player.
He just has a lot of potential, and he's already a good player.
And I think Brunson getting there could actually help Julius Randle. Julius Randle is not a guy you should be giving the ball to 15 times a game and saying, go get us buckets. But with a competent point guard who will help get in the ball in good spots, run the pick and roll with him, because Wiggins, looking at the TV and said Wiggins, Randle is a nice roll man. He really is. And last season spent way too much time in three-point land, and he's not a good enough shooter to spend a bunch of time out there. So I think they could take a step forward this year and not be the trash team they were last year. But I am not picking them to make the playoffs.
No.
Is anybody picking them?
I think they'll be in the play-in, but I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
No, I don't have him making the playoffs.
Nope.
All right. Well, that is time for my Orlando Magic.
Before you started, I just saw John Morant's got 49 tonight, and there's still like 2 minutes to play.
Oh my god.
And
Nice.
they're come back on the Rockets, and they're winning again.
Well, good. Well, I will say this, guys. This is the most excited I've been about Orlando Magic season in a little while. I'm not saying we're going to be world beaters or anything stupid like that, but we're healthier than we have been in a few seasons, first off. Second off, Bonchero looked absolutely lights out opening night. I was really impressed with that. And then I like Franz Wagner, however you say it. He had a nice rookie season last year, and then just tore up the Euro play-in tournament over the off season. He's back, adding to his game. I really think we have potential to be a nice team this year, not a contender or anything stupid like that, but just a nice young up and coming team, way better than the Pacers.
Hey now, calm down.
But I'm just excited to watch these young guys try to grow together this year. And I realize I sound like a homer because I am talking like a homer right now. I'm just excited to watch these guys grow. Got League Pass, so I can try and watch all 82 games.
Yeah, it must be nice to watch out-of-market teams.
Yes. But I will not pick the Magic to make the playoffs. I do think we could have a shot at the play-in, depending on how the season goes.
I will not be picking them.
No,
No, I'm
I
not
didn't
picking
pick him
them.
either.
no.
All right. Next is the 76ers.
Yeah.
And the 76ers brought back Harden and Maxey and Harris and Embiid. But they were busy this offseason. They brought in P.J. Tucker, as I mentioned earlier. They also brought in Montrezl Harrell, Daniel House, DeAnthony Melton. They really brought in some shooting and some scoring off the bench there. I really, really liked their offseason. And then they've come in the first 2 games of the season and looked like poop.
Poop.
I think Joel's out of shape. He looks out of shape to me.
Joel looks out of shape, and
Alright.
he keeps getting frustrated and pouting. And I'm a Joel supporter, so I'm not picking on him because I don't like him. I'm a Joel supporter, but he has not looked good. Harden has looked really good, weirdly enough.
Hey, Wade. Harden looked good.
Yeah, top 50 player of all time. Good.
But
Oh, calm down on that.
the other part that worries me is the Harden Maxey backcourt. There is no defense.
Yeah.
Tobias doesn't play defense either.
And
One
Tobias
plays
is not a
defense.
good defender, so you're really relying on P.J. Tucker to guard the other team's best player and Embiid to clean up everybody's mess. And that doesn't seem like a great combination there. Unfortunately,
Not if Embiid's pouting.
yeah.
Did we not see this all the time when Shaq would come back out of shape?
I think my recommendation to them is bring Maxey off the bench. It may hurt his feelings a little bit, but he could run the second unit, be the number one scorer on the second unit, play starter minutes just off the bench, and start Melton, and have him play, really good Bulldog defense, and spread the floor for Harden and Embiid.
Yeah, they just need time to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
Figure out
Yeah, but
rotations.
how much
and
do you
stuff
figure
like that.
out with Doc Rivers?
Well, you figure out that you usually underachieve. That's pretty much how that goes. Ask Chris Paul.
Ask Chris Paul. Ask.
Really, you can make an argument that
Ask-
Celtics teams
Ask
underachieve.
Kawhi Leonard.
Ask the
Two-time champion underachieved. Get out
Ask
of
the
town.
big three
Get out of
Celtics.
Not when he was with Doc Rivers.
No, get out of town.
Yeah.
He didn't win a championship with Doc Rivers.
No.
Took him just as far and then farther than Chris Paul ever did.
I'm not arguing about Chris Paul. I'm saying everywhere other than the Celtics, everywhere he goes, he's underachieved.
He underachieved with the Celtics.
Yeah, they won
1
one
year.
championship.
Yeah,
That's
one
kind of
year.
an underachievement, I think.
I don't know. I mean, Garnett got hurt the second year, and that was over.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens, but when you have 4 All-Stars on one team, 3 of which are first-ballot Hall of Famers,
But one of them wasn't playing. That's what I'm saying.
and I'm saying there's 3 more. I don't know. We don't have to argue about old shit. But
Yeah.
But I'm putting the 76ers down. As a
Yeah.
playoff.
Yep,
Yeah.
they're on
So
mine.
did I.
I'm done.
All right, so I only have one spot left. I have 7.
I only
Yeah.
have one spot left.
me too.
I'm out.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry, Drew.
Okay.
I'm just picking on you, man.
I'm
I
happy
got, I
with
got one
mine.
left in mind. That
Yeah, I
think-
have the next one in mind.
Oh, well, let's see.
The
what it-
Toronto Raptors.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about.
The Toronto Raptors, again, return a lot of talent. Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., Scotty Barnes, who won Rookie of the Year last year, right?
Who?
Scotty Barnes?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did. OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam, Precious Achiuwa, Chris. How do they say his last name? Boucher? I don't know. And then they brought in the veterans, Otto Porter Jr. and Thaddeus Young. The only thing I will say about this team is they have exactly 0 centers. They started Siakam at center last year. He's 6'8". They brought Thaddeus Young off the bench as the center, and they didn't sign anybody in the offseason. So I'm going to say that they have given up on the center position, and they're just 1 through 5. They switch everything and play really good defense. They fly all over the floor, get a lot of second chance opportunities. They, get to loose balls. They play like 10 guys deep, and they all are solid NBA, at least solid, if not good NBA players. They just don't have a superstar. I think they're hoping that Scotty Barnes turns into a superstar, but I really like Toronto's team. Again, I don't think they're a contender, a championship contender, but I think they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs.
Well, they have good management. They seem to make some good moves, and
People are really high on Nick Nurse, their coach too.
Yeah, Nick Nurse is a good
I
coach.
think.
But I am writing Toronto down as a playoff team.
yeah, me too.
Me too.
That ends my.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
That was
not.
the
Hey.
down.
So do we even want to talk about the Wizards, or do we just want to head out
Ray's got a
west?
spot left, doesn't he?
No, I'm out.
Remember
Oh,
he had
you're
the
out too.
Pacers? He had the Pacers.
Oh, yeah, the Pacers. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Well, there's only one team left. It's Washington. Let's touch on them real quick, and then we can move to the West. What the Wizards, their offseason, they did a few things. They, traded for Monty Morris and Will Barton, who I think are upgrades for their roster, but they're not like, hey, I'm going to vault you to the next level type guys. Kuzma had a nice season there last year. Bradley Beal was hurt, and before he was hurt sucked, but then he got $250 million afterwards. So, maybe he'll return to form with Kuzma and Morris and Barton, and if, Porzingis can stay healthy for a first season of his life, I could see them having a decent season if those things happen. But I'm definitely not confident in Porzingis staying healthy. I could see Beal returning to form and being a really good player again.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add about Washington. I don't think they're a playoff team.
Yeah.
I could see them
No.
being a play-in team maybe,
Yeah.
Maybe.
if they can stay healthy. But
Yeah, they could be sneaky, but
Really,
That's about
anybody
it.
could end up being a playing team.
that's
You
true.
expand it to 10. Yeah, it's
That's true.
It's like,
That is
just don't
true.
be one of the 7 or 8 worst teams in the league.
All right. Well, that ends our Eastern Conference. Not a ton of differences. I don't know. Do me, Wade, and Doug have like the same 8 teams?
Maybe. I have Bucks, Celtics, Brooklyn, 76ers, Cavs, Heat, Hawks, Raptors.
Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, me too.
You wrote the Hawks down, Alex?
No, I don't have the Hawks.
No, you said Hawks?
Yes.
Oh, no, I don't have
No,
Hawks.
I have
either.
the Hawks either.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I have Boston, Brooklyn, Chicago, Cleveland, Miami, Milwaukee, Philly, and Toronto.
I didn't do the Bulls, and everyone
yeah,
else did.
I did the Hawks, and
Yeah.
so there's like one difference.
I have the Hawks, and you all have the Bulls.
Yeah.
I said I had the Hawks, and you had the Raptors,
Yes.
and I had the Bulls. There's like little differences.
Yeah, and Ray has the Pacers, and he didn't put.
I didn't put the Nets.
Oh, you didn't put the
Oh,
Nets.
that's right,
Yeah,
the Nets. Okay.
They're nothing crazy.
yeah, nothing crazy.
Yep.
Except for
right.
my Pacers pick.
That was a little nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go out there for your team.
Yeah, you got to.
So I doubt that I'm going to go out there for I might.
Yeah, spoiler alert. I don't know if I'm picking one LA team.
Yeah,
I'll pick one.
I'll pick one. The other one,
They come up first.
All right,
There'll be a lot of changes.
Let's go to the West. And number one team in the West, or the first team, I don't mean number one. First team in the West is the Dallas Mavericks, whose offseason was not huge. They did a couple of things around the fringes. They obviously still have Luka Doncic, the most important piece there.
Yeah.
They still have Spencer Dinwiddie and Reggie Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith, who were all starters on their playoff run last year. They made the Western Conference Finals, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
They brought in JaVale McGee to start at center, which is a solid defensive rebounding guy. I like that pickup. Tim Hardaway Jr. returns from injury, which I think is a very nice return for them. Maxi Kleber is still there. But the biggest pickup, I think, and he may end up starting before year's end, is Christian Wood. A scoring big man. Averaged 19 and 10 last year. I think he'd be a nice pickup. The second leading scorer on the team if he can get his head straight. He's had some maturity problems the last couple of years, but he is a very, very talented scorer. So I will be picking the Mavericks to make the playoffs.
I picked the
Yes,
Mavericks.
I definitely picked the Mavericks.
How about the Mavericks?
I'm going to say no.
Oh.
Wow.
You have any reasons behind your pick, Ray?
I just think the West is so loaded that there's probably 8 better teams than Dallas that could go ahead of them.
Well, I'll be interested in seeing who you picked then, Ray.
Okay.
I will say though, I mean,
There's a lot of options.
the way they're built, if Luka goes down, they might suck.
Oh,
Completely.
if Luka gets hurt, the season's over.
That's
Yeah,
right.
but
he goes down.
But we could say that about, I mean, what if Jokic goes down? Denver will probably go in
Right.
the tank.
Right.
Yeah, but
I
they
mean, they're already hurt.
They
when he get-
literally specifically built one specific way around Luka. Like I think, and they lost Brunson, so like I don't even know outside of Christian Wood and maybe every other fourth game for Hardaway if anyone could even score. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
He misses 20, 30 games, season could go down the shitter.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
true. At least he didn't come in fat this year.
Yeah, true that.
He's still doughy looking. Yeah. Just looks like the doughboy.
Not as doughy as the next guy we're going to talk about.
Oh boy.
The Denver Nuggets are next with Nikola Jokic,
Yep.
the dough man himself. I think the biggest things for Denver changing right now is just health. Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. are back, which is a huge pickups for them because since they played the entire season without them last year and were the 3 seed, 4 seed,
The
something like
Nuggets?
5.
Were they a 5 seed?
Yeah, because once Warriors, 4? Did they play in the first round?
They did play in the first round. You're right. But anyway, they were a mid-tier playoff team, and their second and third best players didn't play. I think that goes to how good Jokic was last year. But the one pickup they did have is they brought in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He's now their starting 2-guard, bringing some defense and some shooting there.
Well, at least defense.
Yeah. Well,
They keep telling me he's a shooter. I just haven't seen it that much.
Yeah.
He is a great defender, though. Every once in a while, he would throw it up for the Lakers, but
Every
I don't
once
know.
in a while.
Maybe it was just the Lakers.
I don't know what his 3-point percentage is, but and then Aaron Gordon returns, which is a nice player. Bones Highland, who kind of burst on the scene last year, now has bigger minutes because they got rid of Morris. And then Jeff Green returns, who had a really nice dunk the other night. Did anybody see that? Oh, man, he thundered on somebody. I was like, whoa, where did that come from, old man? And then they signed Bruce Brown, who played the last couple seasons for New Jersey. Nice, hard-nosed defender and hustle guy. I think that was a nice pickup for their team.
Well, right now in real life, they just dropped 40 points in the first quarter against the Warriors.
Without Murray.
Yeah. So, looks like on paper they're solid.
Well, last year, Pope shot 39% from 3. The year before that, he shot 41%. The year before that, he shot 38. Then he shot 34, which is a down year. And then he shot 38 again. Yes, during the regular season, he's a good 3-point shooter.
Yeah. Sometimes you just watch the games where they suck.
Yeah, that's very true. Or, sometimes, like, who was it a couple years ago? Oh, remember when, what's his name? Barnes? Harrison Barnes had that terrible shooting stretch during the NBA Finals. And then for years after that, everybody's like, Harrison Barnes can't shoot. He's a terrible shooter. I'm like, no, he's a solid shooter. He just couldn't shoot for those 5 games in the NBA Finals that one year.
Yeah, everyone has slumps.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just show up at bad times.
But I am also picking the Nuggets to make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm as well.
Nobody leaving the Nuggets off there, huh?
Nope.
All right. Well, that will lead us probably not to as good a team because that's 2 good teams back to back. But I was wrong because it's Golden State. The Golden State Warriors, who brought back, they won the championship last year, and they return Steph, Clay, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Kevin Looney, all 5 starters. They also have Jordan Poole, who had a really good year last year. And then they have Kuminga, Moody, and Wiseman, 3 really young, really talented guys that are going to get more run this year because guys like Iguodala don't seem to look like they're going to play much. They let the big white guy go. I can't remember his name. Anyway, my point being is those
Andrew Bogut left it years ago, Alex.
that's not who I was talking about. And their rotation last year, they had that big kind of fat white guy.
Yeah.
So he's foreign.
I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember his name, though.
I just thought Andrew Bogut.
And they let Gary Payton the second leave in free agency. So Poole and Kuminga, Moody and Wiseman should all be playing decent minutes this year.
They lost that young guard to the Lakers. The guy we talked about earlier. Forgot his name.
Toscano Anderson.
Yeah.
He's actually not as young as you think he is because I don't think he came in the league till he's like 25.
I do like him, though.
I think he's a good role player.
Yeah.
Where did Gary Payton end up?
Portland.
Portland.
Oh, yeah.
Hasn't he already done stints there before?
He's done stints in a lot
He's
of
been
places.
cut by a ton of teams because he couldn't make a team there for a while. But I am obviously putting Golden State down as a playoff team.
Oh, yeah. I'm putting the Warriors down.
Ray, you leaving them off?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, hell no.
Wow.
They are obviously a contender, not just a playoff contender. They're
They got a chance to repeat.
yeah, I definitely think they do. I just think not the only thing, but one of the things that could derail them is Draymond. This Draymond situation, depending on how it plays out, and they've looked really good so far in the couple games they played this season. I'm not saying that, but I don't know. Like, I'm torn on the situation. We can just talk about it for a second. Obviously, Draymond knocked out his teammate, and he really, really did. Like, lights out, go to sleep, little boy. But I guess I'm torn on it because, first off, I just want to say fights and sports happen. Football fields, basketball courts, it happens. I mean, we used to have fights pretty regular in high school sports. And our coaches would yell and break us up and everything, but it wasn't like you were like suspended from school or anything. It was just you got to run.
Yeah, that's the problem. You got to run.
But I mean, it wasn't treated like the end of the world. So to act like a fight is the end of the world, I think is a little ridiculous.
No, keep going.
But the other parts of it is, I guess, I got really tired of everybody on national media saying it was a sucker punch. 2 grown men were standing face to face, looking each other in the face. One of them shoved the other one, and then didn't put his hands up.
Yeah.
Like, if you shove somebody, well, first off, if they went nose to nose with you, obviously probably saying something derogatory to you, obviously we couldn't hear it, and then you shove them,
You better be ready.
You should expect retaliation. So I think it was a little stupid to be like, oh, he didn't know it was coming. He had no idea it was his teammate. Well, okay. But I will say this, though. I don't expect you to knock your teammates unconscious.
Yeah.
Like, that was a vicious, vicious blow.
Yeah.
We all know Michael punched Steve Kerr, but he didn't knock him out.
Yeah. You know, and it's, I don't know. It's how do you recover from that as teammates? I guess that's my question. That's where I was leading to this. If you're Jordan Poole, can you get back to we're cool?
I don't think it's really going to be about that. It's about probably Poole going to show him up and be like, yeah, you might be able to hit me, but you ain't lasting here much longer.
I mean, maybe. I mean, they did sign Poole to an extension, but let's be honest, Draymond's more important to that team than Jordan Poole is right now.
Well, that's probably true, but, I mean.
Maybe not for very long, though.
Yeah.
One's in their early 20s, one's in their early 30s.
They can't score anymore.
Yeah.
That won't score anymore. Don't even try.
And isn't his contract up at the end of this year?
It
Yeah, and
is.
he wants to get paid big bucks.
Yeah. So,
Nope.
I don't know. I think what Ray said is that it could come true. Maybe.
I mean, Poole just
I mean,
keep playing basketball, prove you're the better player, and everything will be all right.
Yeah.
I don't know that Jordan Poole could ever do that.
And maybe he
What
can.
what is he going to do that's going to prove that he's the better player unless Steph and Clay leave and he takes over the team and wins championships?
You know, I don't know.
Because he can't, like, just because of who he is, he can't do what Draymond does. It's not like he can step in and replace Draymond. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not going to be the defending bigs and setting up the offense and essentially playing point guard for the team and, being the emotional leader of the team. Like, very little of that could he accomplish because of who he is.
Should your leader be punching teammates, though?
Steph Curry's the leader of the team, in my opinion.
I said emotional leader. I didn't say overall leader. He's the guy. He's the pump up guy. He's the guy that gets the team fired up. He's the guy that gets in their rears when they're playing bad.
He's the
And-
spark plug, pretty much.
Yes,
And
spark
if I
plug.
was playing for the Warriors, I'd tell Draymond shut up. Because I hate people that yell at me when I'm...
And then he might punch
can-
you in the face.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm going to tell him, shut up, dude. Leave me alone. Like, I can't. I don't like that when people get all rah about it. I don't know.
I
I'm
think
not a big rah guy.
I think the point I think me and Ray were trying to make is Poole's an up and coming player who's already really good and could be even maybe a little better, and Draymond's already slowing down and wants
He is.
very big money. So Poole might end up getting the upper hand and staying while Draymond gets shipped off or leaves or whatever the case may be.
I mean, if they have another really good season, I can see him playing hardball with Draymond,
Yeah.
saying no.
So what do you think the likelihood is they have to split these two up during this season?
I think they could hold it
I think
together.
they hold together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
I think they could.
I think behind the scenes what we don't see is maybe Steph or Clay talking to him and saying, hey, just be...
Well, they said
Don't
that.
be best buddies, but just be
I mean,
good enough to work.
I think it
Do
was
your
Chris
job.
Chris Hayes. I think maybe reported last week or the week before that that Curry invited them both over and made them sit down and talk to each other. So they've at least spoken.
Yeah.
Now, whether they're friendly or not, I don't know. Like, I watched their game the other night, and I never saw them high five or dap each other up or, do anything like that. It seemed, but it wasn't like they were actively avoiding each other on the court. Like, Poole threw the ball to Draymond for a layup at one point. It wasn't like they were being petty about it and hurting the team.
Right.
But
and that's what you need. Though.
I mean, if
they need to be
someone-
able to function on the court
If
together.
someone punched me in the face, it'd probably take me a minute before I start high-fiving him and ask the best bros.
Probably walk
again.
by and
But I'm
smack
not.
them in the
I'm
face.
still going to do what's best for the team.
yeah.
I would say,
Yeah.
but I think by All-Star break they'll be back.
But here's the thing, though. This is what we're talking about. I don't think Draymond can be Draymond to Poole right now.
Yeah, that's probably true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what if Poole makes a defensive screw-up? Can Draymond yell and scream at him like he does to everybody?
Does he need to yell and scream at everybody?
I'm not saying he does or he doesn't, but that's who
Right.
Draymond is.
Well, yes, and we know that's who he is, but
Curry or somebody else may have to take over for Poole.
yeah.
But I wouldn't want to be the guy that picks on Poole, because the first person from another team that takes a shot at him, Draymond's going to go after him
Yeah.
to show that he's backing his teammate up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the first
Yeah.
guy that goes after Poole, Draymond's going to be on him in a hurry.
I didn't think about that, but that's a good point.
It is. Yeah, I didn't think about it
Draymond
either.
would do that.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, he would. He would try to make a point.
Like if one of the Morris twins does something dirty to Poole, he'll go right over there and
Imagine that you run up a Morris.
yeah. Jokic come out of nowhere. I got you. Bam! And knock him out for season.
then his two brothers standing in black jackets at the exit.
We hate Morris Brothers for life. Like my Russian accent?
Yeah, it was great. Spot on.
All right, we're done with the Warriors.
Yeah, we got to move on from the Warriors.
All right, let's go.
All right, next is the Houston Rockets, a team that was god-awful last year and didn't really make any big splashes this year, just, made their draft picks like a bad team should, I guess. They brought back Kevin Porter Jr. Here was the thing. Kevin Porter Jr. got an extension, okay? He made I don't remember how big it was, but it was like $80 million or something, but a decent-sized extension. He walked out of a game last year and left the building in the middle of a game last year. That's the person we're going to get signed to an extension?
Yeah, I kind of see a problem.
That's probably all we need to say about the Houston Rockets franchise right now.
Yeah,
They're rebuilding.
kind of a mess.
Jalen Green had a decent rookie season. I don't want to call it really good because he averaged like 20 a game, but he shot 40%. But then at the end of the season, they asked him, "What'd you learn from your rookie season?" And he said, "I learned that I'm a bucket."
I like it. He's a bucket.
And I was like, dude, you need to get the ball to go through the bucket more efficiently, I think. But anyway, Jalen Green is back. They drafted Jabari Smith, who I like a lot. Sengun, who had a nice rookie season last year, is back. He didn't start last night, which I thought was weird. I thought he would be the starting center this year. They also drafted Tari Eason, who I thought was a nice player in college and could be a decent player in the pros. I think they will improve this year. I don't think they will be the miserable, god-awful team they were last year. I saw, was it right? I might have it in front of me. Yeah, last year, they had, these are losing streaks they had. They had a losing streak of 15, a losing streak of 12, they had a losing streak of 8, and closed out the season with a losing streak of 7.
Wow, that's a competitors right there.
Yes. But so I will not be picking the Houston Rockets to make the playoffs.
No.
I'm not picking the Houston Rockets.
All right. Next will be the Los Angeles Clippers,
Ooh, yeah.
who have Paul George and Marcus Morris and Zubats and Reggie Jackson and Norman Powell and Luke Kennard and Terrence Mann all and Robert Covington all returning. Very, very nice core there.
And
But
Kawhi Leonard's going to play.
that's what I was getting ready to
Yeah.
say. Kawhi Leonard decided to play basketball this year.
For now.
Yeah, well, that's a fair point. But I do think he did look nice the other night in his first game back, so that could be a huge huge return for them. But they also have the pickup of John Wall. So two of Wade's favorite players play on the same team right now.
Indeed.
And John Wall looked good the other night. So I think this team has improved. First off, they've improved just because Kawhi Leonard's back. But the signing of John Wall is nice. The only thing I'm worried about with the Clippers, and you can tell me if you guys agree or not, is they don't have another center on their roster other than Zubats. The next biggest guy on their team is Marcus Morris. Is he even really a small ball 5?
No.
Marcus Morris doesn't rebound. You going to have PG and Kawhi doing your rebounding for you when you don't have Zubats on the floor?
They'll be all right.
Maybe.
I'm not saying they need a huge name center, but I would think you'd want somebody out that can,
Dependable rebounder, yeah.
especially if you're going to go into the playoffs and deal with Jokic, deal with Towns and Gobert, guys like that. You're going to need somebody that's. The Zubats going to get in foul trouble at some point, or or if he gets hurt.
They love going small. They're the ones that first exposed Rudy Gobert in the playoffs.
That is true.
And
They
which led to-
started Nicholas
Yeah.
Batum at center that year.
They led the downfall of Rudy.
There never
his
was an
reputation.
uphill. There was only down, Wade.
Yeah. No, there for a while, there were some really big Rudy Gobert supporters.
Well, there still are. I listened to a podcast that one of the hosts of it is a big Rudy guy.
Oh my gosh.
Because of all the defense and the advanced stat
All the
numbers. And all that
defense.
stuff.
He's the greatest defensive player to ever live.
All right, let's just stay on the Clippers. This is Rudy.
All right, well, I am putting the Clippers down as a playoff team.
Yep, me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, the
Put them
Clippers are on my list.
And then one of my other really teams I'm super interested in this year is the Los Angeles Lakers. I want to watch all 82 games of the Lakers this year. No offense, Lakers fans, but I'm loving this. Watching Westbrook get mad and pout. Watching LeBron put up phony stat lines. Watching Anthony Davis fall down every 5 seconds and everybody in the arena gasp. He got hurt 2 different times last night. He has been on the injured list since mid-preseason. And then everybody in the media blamed the supporting cast for why they were losing games. So
Did you all hear that post game with LeBron where he goes, "I'm not going to talk about what we can't do."
but then he said, we don't have any shooters on our team.
Yeah.
No, someone posted like on some job site said 3-point shooter Staples Center Tuesday night at 9.
Yeah. 0 for 11.
Oh,
my
Russ.
God.
Yes, Russ.
Yeah, Russ.
So last night, Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverly, and Kendrick Nunn, so the 3-guard rotation for the Lakers,
Yeah.
shot 1 of 21.
Yeah.
Good
Oh
team.
my God.
So Westbrook shot 0 of 11, but Patrick Beverly was 1 of 9.
Yeah. He's not a shooter either.
Why is he
but
shooting
at least he plays defense.
Why is he shooting the ball 9 times?
Yeah.
Well, Patrick Beverly has the highest career 3-point percentage of anybody on the Lakers,
Which is just sad.
Which is what? What's that?
37%.
I still don't want the ball in his hands.
Oh, no, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I don't
He can hit a handful of wide open threes sometimes, but
and act like he won the NBA Finals after winning the play-in game.
he at least will help like set a culture and stuff. Like Westbrook just ain't cutting it no more. He doesn't even try hard anymore. Los Angeles sucked the soul out of his body.
Westbrook won't even come to team huddles anymore.
He like he just doesn't. He just wants to airball shots and run down court and be left alone.
Just wants to collect his money.
Yeah,
Just collect $47 million.
he's yeah.
Oh, that
So,
was a
I guess
terrible trade that LeBron or signing.
And then
So
tried to act like it wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not the management. They make the final say. Shut up, Brown.
So here's my question. We were all kind of goofing about it earlier, but is nobody really going to pick the Lakers to make the
No.
playoffs?
Hell no.
No, I'm not as of right now.
I'm not either.
No.
But I will say, it's not like at the end of the year, if LeBron and AD are healthy and they make the playoffs, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's obviously the very beginning of the season, so you can't judge too much on a small sample size. But today I watched the Wizards and the injury-riddled Bulls, and they both looked a lot better than the 2 Laker games I watched so far this year.
Yeah.
It's just rough. It's rough to watch.
Yeah, it has. And in all reality, I don't know that LeBron should have said it to the media, but they really can't shoot.
Right. No,
They really have a shooting problem. When LeBron and AD are your 2 best shooters, that's a problem.
In today's NBA, if you can't shoot and your perimeter defense is suspect, you have no chance of winning.
Yeah, because guys are raining
None.
threes on them, and they're not hitting any threes back. And a lot of today's game is whoever hits the most threes wins.
Right.
Yeah, and then how
The
do you
Lakers are definitely not going to hit the most
Yeah.
threes.
And how do you get open threes? You attack the paint. They go right by Westbrook into the paint. Someone has to help off their man and leave their man open for a shot. It's that simple. And Westbrook can't stay in front of his man. James doesn't do it half the time either.
Well, LeBron quit playing defense 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
He quit before he came to LA.
AD can't guard the point guards. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
rough.
This year is about LeBron passing Kareem,
Yes.
which just pisses me off.
And he's gonna pad the shit out of his stats until he.
Yeah, I will say this. I want to get this out here so everybody can hear it for the end of time. I have watched both Lakers games. In Game 1, it was blatantly obvious. In Game 2, he did it as well. But in Game 1, in a blowout, the Lakers are getting blitzed. The Golden State Warriors have pulled all their starters. They're playing a bunch of young kids. They're getting blown out by like 20-some points. LeBron is playing in the fourth quarter trying to get his stat line up. He scores like 16 points in the fourth quarter, and they pull him from the game because his stats look good now.
Yeah.
It was a stat padding thing. It had nothing. What are we doing?
Trying to make him look good.
He's been doing
Exactly.
this for years.
And then all I hear the next day from Nick Wright and a bunch of other knob slobbers is, hey, look at this. You're 20, 28, 10, and 7. Look at this. I'm like, well, great. I'm so happy for you that he played in the fourth quarter of a blowout against a bunch of backups and got his stat line up. Like, you're. I'm not. I don't know. I'm done. I'm not picking the Lakers to make the playoffs.
Neither am I.
All right, next team, Memphis Grizzlies. Here's the thing. I'm going to say something similar I said about a team earlier. I do have them as a playoff team, but I think this team took a step back in the offseason. They still have Morant and Bane and Brooks and Jackson and Steven Adams, Brandon Clark, John Conchar, Tyus Jones, all those guys return. But the big things for me was Melton left and went to the 76ers. Kyle Anderson left and went to the Timberwolves. And Jaren Jackson Jr. is out for months.
Hurt, yeah. That's my big thing is how long he's out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they said what? It was a 4 to 6 month
Yeah,
injury.
that's what I heard. Yeah, 4 to 6.
Well,
so.
On top of that, and then in the West, the Nuggets and Clippers got all their guys back,
Yeah.
so they could very easily surpass them in the standings.
Yes, I agree. I do like them. I like this team. They're exciting. They're fun to watch.
they're
John
fun.
Morant is exciting all by himself.
Oh, yeah.
But Desmond Bane took a nice step up last year. I really like Jaren Jackson Jr. I think he has more potential than he's shown thus far. And Steven Adams is just a cool dude.
Yeah.
I
He
like
is.
I like Steven Adams. And Brandon Clark is another guy that he's not like a great player, but he's very exciting. He has like cool dunks, a lot of cool hustle plays, blocks. He's jumps like 48 inches or something stupid like that. He's like a 6'7" playing center, backup center. So I will be putting Memphis down as a playoff team.
Yep.
Yes, I
definitely.
put the Grizzlies down.
Yeah, and they're definitely a playoff team.
Same here.
All right. Well, that will now lead us to a team that did make some changes, that one big one. The Minnesota Timberwolves. Probably you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, if I'm forgetting something, but probably made the biggest splash of the offseason. Big, huge news that they traded for old Rudy Gobert, Drew's favorite player.
Woo!
Not the biggest splash. I said the Cavs got the biggest splash, but that's all right.
I was going to ask which one you thought was bigger.
Donovan Mitchell's better than Rudy Gobert.
Well, I think Donovan Mitchell is better. He's definitely not bigger. I think he is a better basketball player than Rudy. Yeah, it could. I guess there's definitely an argument to be made there, Drew.
Mhm. Were there any other big moves? Or was it those the two biggest ones?
Just most of the time it was just people resigning. There wasn't really.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There weren't
Okay.
huge trades like
Right.
some years before.
I thought this is the year of a bunch of people coming back.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
people come back from
Yes.
injuries.
So a lot of important players just didn't play last year. Or didn't play very much.
Well, you have Russell, Edwards, McDaniels, and Towns all returning, with Rudy added to that. Kyle Anderson signing. And then they have a bunch of, scrubs for the most part, unless I'm forgetting them. Scrubs. They traded all their role players in the Rudy Gobert trade. They traded 5 draft picks, 5 first-rounders, plus they traded like half their rotation.
You know, it's funny. The
What's
Jazz beat the T-Wolves tonight
Did they really?
in overtime.
No way.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, man.
They at least won their first game.
Yeah, they did, but they barely did. And it was against the Thunder.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Jazz beat them. The Jazz are 2-0.
But on pure, that is shocking. First of all, the Jazz
Yeah.
means But
Just let the Timberwolves mesh a couple games together.
Well, yeah,
Even
but I'm just thinking it's
out.
funny the Jazz beat them with.
Yeah.
on pure talent level alone, they should be in the top 8 of the West. They should be. You never know. Between Edwards and Anthony Towns and Gobert and Russell, they should at least make the top 8.
They've got the talent.
I like
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah. No, I think the Rudy trade hurt Edwards.
Yeah, it's just going to clog the lane for him.
Yes.
Especially if they're both out there.
Well, then it makes Karl-Anthony Towns strictly a three-point shooter, which
Yeah.
he shot a lot anyway. But
Now he's going to get even more ridiculous with it.
yeah, he just be jacking more inefficient shots up because he can't go get those easy buckets down low because Rudy's in his
Because
way.
Rudy can't shoot more than 5 feet away from the basket.
I bet they'll platoon. They'll break up Edwards and Anthony Towns, and then have Russell and Gobert, and then they'll do a lot of times where they're split up. 2 are on the bench, or resting, or 2 are playing at the same
That's
time.
what they should do. But
Here's the other thing that's looked like an utter disaster is Karl-Anthony Towns trying to play defense on the perimeter.
I think we all knew that was going to go badly.
we all knew either one of them was going to get exposed, but they want it to be Anthony Towns, so Rudy Gobert doesn't look terrible like he is.
When you have a player like Rudy Gobert, if they really want to win in the playoffs, there will be times where he has to sit on the bench.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. You can't let his contract get in the way.
Put your
He
ego
will have to
aside
sit.
and put him on the big fat bench.
Not just sit. There might be games where he doesn't play.
There will be certain series where having a big 7-footer that can't punish you on offense is just a complete and utter liability.
Play the
And
Clippers.
and you will get played off the floor. The Mavs will do it to you.
The Warriors, the Mavericks.
Yeah, I mean, and there will be matchups where he'll be extremely useful, but they
The
have
Nuggets?
to be. The coach has to be willing to do it.
Yep.
We'll see if they bring out the big balls like Brooklyn did.
So
You and these big balls, Drew.
so who all's putting the T-Wolves in the playoffs?
I put them down.
I put him
Put
on.
it in there. Yeah.
I am not.
Oh, buddy, give him a call. Better give him a call.
Yeah, maybe he should. But I will not put them in.
Interesting.
All right.
You'll hear more about it later.
Okay.
Next is the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh, yeah.
Another team that is getting a player back. Zion Williamson has decided to play basketball. With C.J. McCollum and Brandon Ingram and Jonas Valanciunas, who is becoming a podcast favorite here.
We'd love to.
I think I don't know, I shouldn't say that. I do like this team. They should be exciting, but I'm also interested in the fit because Ingram and Williamson have not been a great fit together when they've played together. And then you add C.J. McCollum, another ball-dominant player, to the mix. I think it'll be interesting to see it. They did dominate the Nets the other night, like 30 points. And then you have Valanciunas, who is kind of not necessarily used to throwing the ball all the time, but the reason he's on the floor is because of how good of an offensive player he is. He's not out there because he's great at moving his feet and defending the pick and roll. So they have a lot of scores and not a lot of great defenders. Herbert Jones is a really nice defender, but that's just one guy. Ingram used to be a really good defender and decided he doesn't like defense or something anymore.
Alvarado guy off the bench.
Yeah,
is a good
Alvarado's a good defender. You're right.
defender, but their starting unit is lacking some defense.
Yes.
But
I do like them, and I will be picking them to make the playoffs.
no,
Yep.
Yeah,
Me too.
they're my
Yep.
8th seed team.
8th seed, huh?
I think
Ooh.
they'll.
It's your last one? Or are you saying it'll be
no,
your 8th seed?
I think they'll be around the 8th seed.
Okay, gotcha.
I have a spot left,
Yeah, me too.
and I know who's going in it.
So how many does everybody have so far?
I've got 6.
I have 7.
7.
I have 7.
I have 6. So Ray and I have 2 spots left while everybody else has 1. All right, fair enough. And that will lead us to, I believe, Oklahoma City. Hold on. Yeah, Oklahoma City. Who is another team that has some really nice young talent.
They can't play this year.
Well, one of them can, yeah. What's his name? I can't remember his
Chet
name.
Holmgren.
Yeah, Chet Holmgren will not be playing this year, sadly enough. Although it may do him some good if he can go put on some weight in the
Right,
off-
yeah.
in
In the off
I want to see it. All
getting
that
stronger.
trash talk he was talking.
Yeah. Who's the best player in the NBA? Well, me in a couple days. But I like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's a really nice player. Josh Giddey has really showed us some stuff. Lou Dort has become a nice role player. Like we said, and then we thought they would match up with Chet Holmgren. And then they have Pokuševski, who was some guys fell in love with when in the draft, but he has really been god awful since he's got in the league. So maybe he'll turn into a decent player, but I don't know. And I will not be picking the Thunder to make the playoffs.
No.
Hey,
Go back to Seattle.
Here's the other thing.
Thank you. That's what I want, Seattle.
I want the Supersonics to come back.
Here's the other thing. I don't think if they started off the season really hot and were playing well, I think the team will start shutting people down. They don't want to win.
Right.
No, they want this other foreign guy or whatever. I can't think of his name.
Wembanyama?
Yeah, Wembanyama. Not quite, but yeah, you're close. Did you already see the league's already warned everybody not to tank for him?
Yeah,
There's gonna be at least like 6-7 teams like, fuck this, I'm tanking my ass off.
Yeah, Utah and San Antonio are already.
Utah's not tanking. They're 2-0, Alex.
Well, that's why I told Wade this the other day. I was like, dude, Utah has to unload the rest of these veterans. Like, they have to unload Conley and Clarkson and these guys because they'll win them games.
Right.
They might make the playoffs.
Greg Popovich is like, yeah.
Give me
You guys
another.
are idiots.
Give me a big guy.
What did you see? What they asked him the other day? Why did you come back? And he goes, the paycheck.
Yep.
Yes.
Dude, the more he's let his hair grow out, he is. Oh man.
So next will be the Phoenix Suns,
All right, there we go.
who return Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Bridges, Cam Johnson, DeAndre Ayton, Cam Payne, Bismack Biyombo, who is currently on their team but is refusing to play, is Jay Crowder. He is still sitting at home. He did not report to camp. He is not playing because he is upset that he is not getting a big contract.
Big whoop.
Yeah, come on.
There's a
bro.
reason why he's played for like 7 different teams the last 8 years.
He does jump around a lot.
He does. But I do think that hurts their rotation because they really don't have a great bench. And now that they've put Johnson in their starting rotation to fill Crowder's spot, that shortens their bench even more. I'm not a huge campaign guy. I don't think campaign is all that great.
Yeah.
Bismack Biyombo is a decent backup big, but nothing special there. But I will be picking Phoenix to make the playoffs.
Yep. I
Yep.
picked Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
So is everybody done but Ray and I now?
Yep, I'm done.
I'm done, yeah.
I'm done. Yeah.
Because I did not put the Timberwolves. Who did you not put, Ray?
What do you mean?
He didn't put Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah, I put
gotcha.
Dallas.
All right. I'll be interested to see who you pick, Ray.
Yeah.
And that leads us to the Portland Trailblazers. We have a decent amount of teams left, actually. I didn't think we had that many left. The Portland Trailblazers are the next team on the list, and they are another team that is getting a player back in Damian Lillard. Anthony Simons, who had a big season on a crap team last year, is returning for to be his C.J. McCollum, I guess. They also traded for Josh Hart last year, who had a really nice second half of the season. I like that pickup for them. I'm not that he's a star by any means, but they needed a wing defender. They needed a hard-nosed player. We were winning. Dang. Anyway.
No.
They also traded for Jeremy Grant, who is another good defender and is a decent scorer. And they brought back Joseph Nurkic. They signed Gary Payton II, and they signed an extension to Nasir Little. I guess Portland, for me, it depends on if Damian Lillard's healthy. If Damian Lillard's healthy and good, I think they'll be fine. If Damian Lillard is not, then they'll suck. But I'm going to bank on it, and I'm putting Portland in the playoffs.
And that'll be my final team as well.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Sounds good. Not a whole lot of differences.
No.
No.
I thought about jumping out and doing something like real crazy, like having the Kings make it or something. But
God.
The Kings are. It's possible the Kings can make it.
with the play-in, there's a lot of random
Right.
outcomes.
Yeah, with the play-in,
So-
you get
Like
some interesting.
there probably will
developments.
be some of these teams who we have at the bottom of the conferences who we think will pretty easily make it that will get fucked out of their spot because of the play-in.
Yeah, that's
At
true.
Yeah.
least one or two of them, it'll happen.
Teams are getting screwed for making 7 and 8 spots now.
Yeah, it's
I think it's a screw job.
I mean, the Kings still have De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes, and DeMontis Sabonis.
Yeah.
And then they signed Kevin Herter and Malik Monk. They still have Davion Mitchell, by the way, and Rashawn Holmes. But then they drafted Keegan Murray, who I really like, by the way. I think Keegan Murray is going to be a really solid player in the NBA. But
Oh my God, the Knicks won? Holy shit.
Beat the Pistons, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, whatever.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think the Kings have some potential, and I think they've had potential for a while. I just think they just don't have a winning culture there.
I agree.
They're always
Yeah.
gonna lose until something big changes.
There hasn't been a winning culture while I've been alive.
Well, here's the
Yeah.
thing. Nobody that like the really good players, Fox and Sabonis, the guys that really could vault them to a playoff seed, have never experienced winning.
Right.
Yeah.
They've lost their whole career. Do you even know? Like the other night, they were winning the entire game. The opening night, they were winning the entire game, and then blew it in the last 2 minutes.
A lot of, like Bill Simmons hates on De'Aaron Fox all the time. He talks about how talented he is, and he talks about how awful he is at the end of games, and
But-
he can't be the number one, and he always fucks up at the end of games.
I like De'Aaron Fox a lot, but even I will say that, like, he doesn't need to be a number one on a great team.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, but that's not an insult. Most guys in the NBA can't be a number one.
Most number ones aren't number ones.
Well, that's fair too.
They're
probably-
forced to be number
There's
one.
probably only like 10 real number one players, and then you have players that get stuck in that role
Uh-huh.
because of what team they're on.
Yeah, those guys making all-star teams every year. They have no business being a number one.
No, no. I mean,
But yeah, so I mean, since we're all out of teams, so nobody's picking the Kings to make the playoffs. But I do think out of the teams that none of us put, they are the team most likely to make the playoffs. If of the teams that nobody put.
they get lucky in the play-in, maybe.
I think the Lakers have a better chance than the Kings do.
I forgot about the Lakers, but I don't know.
Everybody does.
I'm pretty down on the Lakers. Next is the team I think is the worst team in the NBA, and that's the San Antonio Spurs.
Probably.
See how many of these guys you know who they are?
All right.
Trey Jones,
No.
Yeah, I heard of him.
Devin Vassell,
No.
Doug McDermott,
Yes.
Fresh.
Keldon Johnson,
I've heard of Keldon Johnson.
Jacob Holtz. I don't know how they say his name. I know who he is.
The foreign guy.
The starting center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
He was a part of the DeRozan deal.
Yeah. I know him a little bit.
Joshua Primo,
Don't know
No.
about him.
Jeremy Sokin, and Zach Collins. Everybody should know who Zach Collins
Yeah.
is. But yeah, that's like the rotation for the San Antonio Spurs.
They want to suck. They're
Yeah.
trying to suck.
Yeah.
I just feel like over the last few trades big trades they've made, they could have gotten more. Like DeMonte Murray is a really, really nice player as an all-star. Like you couldn't have gotten more. Kawhi Leonard, I feel like they could have gotten more out of that trade. You know, like I don't know what they do with the trades out in San Antonio. And then lastly, in the West is the Utah Jazz, who we've mentioned a couple times already tonight. But they have, traded Mitchell and Gobert and Bogdanovich. But they've kept Conley and Clarkson. Am I forgetting another veteran they've kept?
Who knows?
No, I don't think so.
It is weird that they're 2-0, like Drew said earlier.
Oh, Rudy Gay, that's the other one.
Oh.
Danny
okay.
Ainge just literally trying to lose on purpose so
Yeah.
he can rebuild their entire franchise. They start off 2-0.
By the way, something funny. Did you guys see Colin Sexton when he was attacking Jokic the other night?
Uh-uh.
Because, that his nickname is Bull. and before he was dribbling, like staring at Jokic multiple times, not just one time. He would take his foot and like paw at the dirt like he was getting ready to charge, like a bulldog, He was doing that before he would try and take Jokic off the dribble.
Did he take him off the dribble?
Yeah, he toasted him 2 straight times, and then Jokic laid him out. So, anyway, not a lot of differences here in the room. Everybody in the room took Dallas but Ray. And then everybody in the room took the Timberwolves but me.
I think so.
And then Ray and I took Portland to make up for those 2 losses. So you 3 all have the same 8, right? In the West?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we need to take pictures of these or something before we erase them so that we don't.
I said just take a picture on your own phone.
Yeah, so we don't lose these, so we can reference them. And all right. Well, now that we got that out of the way, that did take a while. The next thing is I just want to go around the room and have everybody tell their finals picks and who wins. So who comes out of the East, who comes out of the West, and who wins the finals. Drew?
Oh, okay. Give me the Bucks and the Clippers.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I like that.
And I had the Bucks winning because Doc Rivers can't get the job done.
Doc Rivers doesn't coach the Clippers.
Oh, shoot. I totally
He's
forgot.
76ers coach.
That's
I
Tyronn
thought-
Lue, dude.
Oh,
Tyronn Lue's a good coach.
I still had the
Yeah.
Bucks winning.
Wow.
It's a good choice to go with Giannis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wade?
Well, I know it's anticlimactic, but I was going to say the same thing that Drew said. I'm going with Kawhi. I mean, get the fuck out of town. And then
Bucks and
Giannis.
5, by the way.
5, huh?
Yeah.
If I had to pick who I want to win, obviously I like Durant and Kawhi, but I don't think Brooklyn's gonna make the finals. I'm gonna say Bucks, Clippers. Just to be different from Drew, I'll say Clippers win.
Okay.
You got games?
7.
Okay.
Uncle Doug?
All right. Well, I have Celtics and Bucks in the Eastern Final. Sorry. Celtics and Bucks in the Eastern Finals with the Celtics beating them.
Oh.
And I have the Suns and Warriors in the West with the Warriors winning
Oh,
and the Warriors winning it all again.
oh wow.
Gotcha.
I
So
think they're
Warriors, Celtics both return to the finals. Okay.
So
I think that's a possibility. I
It's
mean, it
possible.
really is.
It's
I think
possible.
they're going to sort things out.
All right. Ray?
Mine's a little different. It's going to be Milwaukee versus New Orleans.
Oh.
Finals.
Oh.
Okay.
New Orleans. I like the boldness.
I think they'll get it together about mid-season. They'll have a nice little flow, and then surprise a lot of people in the playoffs.
Okay.
All
Well,
right,
cool,
all
Ray.
right.
Well, I am going to go a mixture of some of what we've heard. I'm also going with Milwaukee,
Wow.
but I'm going with Golden State to come out of the West. And I am going to pick Milwaukee to beat Golden State in the finals. I did what I considered was Milwaukee Clippers or Milwaukee Golden State. When you two both went with Clippers, I was like, well, I'm going to go Golden State. So, but I do think the Clippers Golden State matchup in the playoffs, if both teams are healthy, could be awesome basketball to watch.
It'd be a fun 7-game series.
The death lineup won't affect the Clippers.
No, probably not.
It might actually
No.
play into the Clippers' hands.
Yeah, but the Clippers going small won't affect.
And the Clippers have like 11 legit players that can play
Yes.
in the playoff games.
A ton of wings.
Like, without Kawhi, who didn't play at all last year, and Paul George only played like 30-some games, they still had like a 500 record or slightly above 500 record
Yeah, they made the playoffs.
with nothing but role players.
Yeah.
Because both their best players didn't really play.
Yeah. You have Wall and Reggie Jackson, and then you have Paul George, Kennard, Terrence Mann, Kawhi, Norman Powell, Nicholas Batum, Covington. That's 9 guys, and we're just talking about guards and wings.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about Morris, and we haven't talked about Zubats.
Yep.
So It's a legit 11 guys.
They legit are probably the deepest team in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a lot of guys who have a lot of injury history, so they need to be the deepest team in the league, probably.
All right, now that we've got our finals picks out the way, who is everybody's MVP? Drew?
John Morant.
Ja Morant.
Ooh,
Nice. Nice, I like it. That's some fresh blood in the MVP conversation. Any specific reason, or just you got a feeling?
It reminds me of Derrick Rose's MVP season. I think what he's done last year, as long as he doesn't get hurt, I think if he carries it over, he'll be fine.
All right.
And with the Grizzlies being good and relevant, that helps his cases out. As we talked on other episodes before, your team has to be somewhat decent. So
Right.
I think he's got a good shot at it.
I like it. Wade?
I have one that I think could happen, but it's like an outside shot, and then one that it's just one of the obvious picks. I'm gonna go Giannis gets another one.
That's where I was going to. Any specific reason?
It's Giannis.
No. Okay.
Best player in the world.
Yeah, he can do everything but shoot a three. I mean,
And he's even gotten better at that. Last year, he shot like 31%.
he can at least hit a wide open one sometimes,
Yeah.
which is the part that Ben Simmons' retarded ass can't understand. You just have to try, and they'll have to at least guard you a little bit. That's the part he doesn't understand.
Yeah.
You have to shoot it, even if you miss it and you only shoot 30%. If you just make it somewhat of a threat, they'll at least step forward a little bit and open up more space.
Yep.
But whatever.
All right, Uncle Doug.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think Tatum's gonna do it.
That was my other one.
Well, I think personally, from my point of view, like Tatum and Morant both fall into the category of like they got their first big playoff push and were like on TV all the time. And guys like that sometimes win the MVP next year.
They're on the radar now.
Yeah.
And Tatum, like last year was his big year. He made first team All-NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But his
and-
big downfall is he disappeared in the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
But
Yeah.
MVPs are kind of goofy. But
Oh yeah,
I mean, James Harden has one. He hasn't really had a good playoff series in his whole career.
Yeah,
True.
the mailman's got two.
Yeah.
He's known for playoff collapse.
Jokic
Yeah.
got bounced in 4 games in the first round last year, and he won MVP. Or 5.
Barkley has one. He's only
Yeah.
made one finals.
So I don't know. I mean, Westbrook has one.
Yeah, that's true too.
But yeah,
Ray, who you got?
Gotta go with Giannis. Tried and true.
it's the big. You
I
know,
mean, he's the only like really consistent player that the NBA's really got. You got Durant with the drama in Brooklyn. You got whiny Embiid. You got Devin Booker that could be possible, but not really. But then you got Giannis who just grinds it out and just puts it all on the line every game.
and Jokic won't get it a third time.
No.
The voters just
No.
won't give it to
They
him.
won't
No,
give him
he
another one.
he could average 50 this year, and they wouldn't give it
No,
to
they're
him.
not giving him another one.
Voters are like
What about the
that.
other guy we're watching though? What about Steph?
Possibility.
There's a possibility.
Yeah, but I don't know.
My pick is also Giannis, for 2 reasons. One, Wade already mentioned he's the best player in the NBA, and has been for a few years now. So he's got that going for him. But they can't blame the fatigue because they just gave it to Jokic 2 years in a row. So they can't be like, well, he already won, the last few years. They can't do that. But the other thing I think is most important for his MVP case is Middleton's not playing.
Yeah.
So if he drags them to a good seed in the East with Middleton only playing part of his season, I think that'll cement his MVP case.
Like I said, you have to have a story behind your MVP.
Yeah.
And you can't just put up good numbers and your team sucks.
I think the only other real big candidate's Luka. The only guy.
Oh,
we
yeah.
didn't mention.
I'm surprised that nobody in the room picked Luka, to be honest.
Even my second pick,
I mean, if he gets them to a decently high
top
seed
4
with,
seed.
with the roster he's got, and he does his usual 29, 9-9 stat line, and he could very easily win it.
What about a couple other guys that have been in conversations in the last couple of years? Like, what about Devin Booker? What if CP3 does more what he did in the first game and only plays like 18 minutes and doesn't do a whole lot, and then Booker is their clear best player, and they may have a good seed. I think Booker stands a chance of winning the MVP.
No.
No. I don't think he's a complete enough player, and I think the Suns are going to take a big step backwards. I think. Like, maybe not a huge step, but at least go backwards a little bit.
They'll be in the middle of the pack in the West,
Yeah.
not leading anymore.
And while I think he's a phenomenal scorer and he's improved his playmaking and he's improved as a defender, he just doesn't have the all-around effect I think some other great players have.
Yeah.
What about Jimmy?
No.
Nah, he'll never win
no.
MVP.
No.
He's a tier below a lot of these guys we're talking about. Great
What-
player, just not.
What about Zion?
If he has a big year and leads Pelicans to a high seed, then yes.
I think he could maybe be a candidate, but we
See if
just
he can play the whole
yeah.
year first.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
he's played 80 games in 3 years combined.
Yep.
So I think that's obviously the only red flag.
What about Embiid?
Not the way he's playing right now.
Yeah, he's kind of reverted. Looks like he's reverted back to him like 2 years ago or however long it was.
He's just kind of loafing around.
Too much
He's
power.
acting like Harden.
At
a
the end of
couple years
last year,
ago.
I'd say obviously, yeah, as he's got 2 second-place finishes, I think now. But the start of this year, he just looks like he reverted back to lazy Embiid.
I think as of right now, Harden has a better chance than he does.
Harden looked good first 2 games, offensively.
And lastly, what about Durant?
No, definitely not.
There's a chance.
Yeah, I'd
but
give him a chance. Maybe not a front
all the
runner,
drama with him, I don't see them voting for him.
Well, I think the biggest thing that stands in Durant's way is health.
but- Yeah.
Because we have bashed on Zion quite a bit for how little he plays. And in the last 3 seasons, Durant's played 1 more game than him.
Yeah.
So, Durant hasn't spent much time on the floor lately either.
Yeah, but he put together a Hall of Fame career before he started getting injured.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Williamson is as good a player as Durant. I'm just talking about them missing time.
Zion just hasn't even started a career, really, yet.
Yeah.
That's just the big thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that is the MVP discussion. And one more thing here. I asked everybody to bring their bold predictions. Give us one bold prediction for the NBA season. I didn't give anybody any limits or what they had to do. I just asked for bold predictions. Drew, would you like to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Pelicans beat T-Wolves in first round. Rudy Gobert is a sham, like always. Pelicans go to the Western Conference Finals. Yeah, that's my big thing. I think the Pelicans are going to make at least the Western Conference Finals.
Wow. All right. All right.
Yeah, let's see. Well, one of my bold predictions involved the Pelicans, but I'm going to skip it now.
All right.
I'm going to go with John Wall will win Comeback Player of the Year.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay, I like that.
I like that.
Especially with the amount of superstars returning to the league, I think that is bold.
I mean, he's going to beat out his teammate.
Kawhi, Zion,
Dame
Lillard, like they're all coming back. Those are legit superstars to talk about. So yeah, I say it's bold. Wait, Uncle Doug.
I think mine goes back to my MVP candidate. I think Tatum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Stepping up and leading Boston to the finals and winning the MVP.
Never heard you talk so positively about
Celtics.
an episode
Yeah.
before.
Tatum is good, though.
Tatum's a
He
St.
is
Louis
good.
boy.
He
So,
is.
He is from
He's
here.
good. He's impressed me with some of his play.
Here's the thing I like about Tatum. I'm not big on this team, on that Celtics team, but the thing I like about Tatum is he is legit on both ends of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I like guys that play on both ends. You don't have to be a lockdown defender, but the guys that just don't put out effort on the other end of the floor really bother me. Like James Harden. Like
Yeah.
you're a legit elite scorer and with great athleticism. Maybe not now, but he used to be with great athleticism. The only reason you're not a serviceable defender is effort.
Right.
Ray?
The New Orleans Pelicans will be the best team in the league.
So you're saying they're going to finish the season with the best record?
Yeah.
All right. That's a bold prediction.
Yeah.
Not super unreasonable. I think they're going to be good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've
They've
got
got
a good
the
roster.
talent.
Yeah, they've got a
They
good
can stay
roster.
healthy
Mhm.
Yeah.
and come together. They can do it.
Yeah.
My original one was I was going to pick him to make the Western Conference Finals.
And my
Three of us
bold
had the same
prediction
thought, so.
goes into my playoff picks. I told you you'd hear about them again later. I am picking the Minnesota Timberwolves to have a worse record than they did last year.
Oh, wow.
I think they made this big splash to get worse.
Well, I told you they're going to lose in the first round. And
I didn't pick him to make the playoffs.
I know. Yeah.
I think the West is going to be better as a whole. We already talked about the Clippers and Nuggets will improve a lot. I think the Warriors
are good.
Warriors had a bad end of the season last year, and their record was. I think they could improve on their record. I mean, the Grizzlies will still be good. Suns still good. Mavs will still be good. The Pelicans, everyone thinks will be up and coming. Portland has a chance to be okay.
The Kings.
The Kings could be a play-in team. I mean, you never know. The Lakers could make a trade and end up being okay. You never know.
Let me ask you guys this. We didn't really talk about it too much earlier. We talked about how Crowder has demanded a trade and hasn't showed up in Phoenix. Is Crowder somebody that the Lakers could trade for and would help them?
Crowder?
Mm-hmm.
Crowder could help a lot of teams. Like he's a nice, solid role player.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not. He is a nice, solid role player, and he's been to the NBA Finals twice in the last 3 years. So he has contributed to winning.
I think he could help, but he wouldn't. He's
not
not
gonna
good
fix the
enough
whole
to make a
problem.
big enough
he's not gonna
impact.
push them to where they need to be.
They need a lot of help out on that perimeter. A lot.
All right, fair enough. So who could the Lakers trade for that you think would maybe not fix all their problems, but make them a legit playoff team? And I'm not talking about, they could trade for Giannis, but like somebody that actually is tradable, a piece that, is all right and a team wouldn't be horribly pissed off to part with.
They need to just give up Anthony Davis.
Ooh. All right. You think you need to trade Anthony Davis?
Yeah, well,
you think that fixes their problems?
Well, they need to speed the team up, and he just slows them down. Because all he does is camp out and want to do fade back jumpers and shit.
Well, and limp every other time down the
By
floor.
the way, they said last night after the game, Anthony Davis has 0 assists this season. 2 games, 0 assists.
I don't know what happened to him. I mean, it's such promise, and then it just...
Yeah.
Yeah, because 3 people in this room put him on their top 50 list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll get off the Lakers. All right, well, do we have anything else we want to discuss on the NBA preview?
I think another bold thing is 76ers don't make the playoffs.
Ooh.
76ers?
Mm-hmm. I can see it.
I don't know. I can't get there.
That's a lot of talent to not make the playoffs, but they are off to a bad start.
They are.
I mean, I know it's just 2 games, but even before that, I could see them not.
I mean, I can see them taking a step backwards.
I mean, we all know Embiid's injury prone, and we all know how Harden is.
Well, I will say this: if Embiid gets hurt, we'll have a completely different conversation.
Yeah.
But still, even without Embiid, I think they could squeak into the playoffs.
Well, with the play-in, they could get screwed over.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, all it takes is 1 game.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely can't count on Harden to show up in the play-in.
No.
Poor James. He's just a silly old rascal.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I have enjoyed talking about basketball and current events tonight. I'm been super excited about the NBA season, so I did kind of push kind of hard to get this episode in because I've been really excited, and Wade and I have been talking on the phone and texting a lot about all this stuff. Because I don't know about the rest of y'all, but some of y'all quit responding to the group text. I don't know what's going on here.
I've been responding.
What
do you mean?
Hit or miss. Hit or miss.
You asked me watching the game. I'm like, I can't. I'm at work. Then how am I supposed to comment on what's going on around in the game?
Yeah.
But is anything else? Anybody else have anything you want to discuss before we get off here?
No, I think
No.
we really deep dive in this episode.
Yeah, I
really.
think we did good.
All right. Well, I don't know about everybody else. We haven't put anything in stone, but I feel like maybe mid-season or maybe before the playoffs or something, we could do another NBA episode, and you'll hear from us again talking about some current NBA stuff.
Yeah.
And you'll definitely hear us probably commenting while we're making other episodes.
Yeah,
while we're
comment.
watching some NBA games. And that's usually a definite given. All right, but we appreciate you tuning in to this basketball preview, and please tune in to more episodes of Sports the NEMO Way.